Hey guys, welcome to another review here at Go Mango.
No!
Alright, as always, I'm your host, Cinder Blaze. Me today we have,
The Frozen Stratos.
and our very special guest, Matt Hunt. Say hi
Hey
to the
everybody.
gang.
Hello.
Alright. Anyways, let's jump into this review. And I've been more excited with each, coming episode of Saber, because I feel like it's getting a lot better. Yet it still retains a good amount of shit for me to rag on, it still needs that little bite to it. But I
It
thought
wouldn't be
that,
the same.
yeah. It wouldn't have the same flavor if it didn't,
Why?
otherwise.
Hold on. You said it was shit, and then also you keep referencing taking a bite and flavor. Why are you eating it?
Well, we're ingesting this show with our eyes and ears,
Sure,
it's just
okay.
it's a way of consuming media. I'm just using a metaphor to describe it.
Wow.
Yes, eating shit isn't the best thing to do unless you're a fox, but let's just move on. I thought that whenever we get exposition in this show, it it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when it's just the overall world building. I thought just them finally saying how this world is kind of set up. We have one dude in charge of the human world, one dude in charge of the Wonder World,
hmm
and then we have three deserters and one accessory guy. I completely forgot what happened, but if they reinforce this stuff, maybe I'll remember. But I was just oh, go ahead.
It's strange that they kept this information under wraps. I don't know if it helped the show for them to pull this sort of, whoa, it turns out he was here the whole time. Yeah, good, thank you. Why did you wait? We could have used this information. I could have been more invested.
I'm just confused why they waited till episode 26 for it. I
Yeah.
could see waiting until episode 10 or around there. That's usually when the turning point is for these shows. Around the Christmas time.
Sure.
And nothing that they revealed. I mean, I was very happy to see that there is an actual backstory that is guiding, hopefully, the plot. But nothing that they revealed was something it wasn't out of the realm of what we already guessed. We knew Tassel had to be somebody because they kept showing him.
Sure.
And if he was nobody, it would have been annoying. We knew the three Megiddo guys had to be related to Logos, because why else would they be trying to get, why would they be using books? Why would they be trying to get stronger? And then Master Logos, we just brought him in and made this big deal about him. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Literally, this information could have been given to us episode 1.
Yeah.
Just us knowing that these guys were the former founders of both these worlds, and they're trying to do something to bring them back together, already kind of brings a threat level that we haven't really gotten from them ever, really. Now we kind of understand what they're really trying to do. Obviously, from them being from that past, they know something's up.
Sure.
So you can kind of trust their actions a little bit more instead of just seeing this angsty punk band just kind of cause trouble for no reason. If we just had some trust in their actions, it would just help immensely, especially with Caliber just kind of being there, just standing as a prop piece. I guess it makes a little bit more sense now that why he was with them of all people. It's not just some random minions or mobs. They were, if all the people to know the absolute truth of the world, they would be probably some the closer people to it. They're not tied to the Sword of Logos, because obviously Caliber was turning on the Sword of Logos because they were supposedly evil.
Yeah.
So and we're kind of approaching that part too. We kind of see Master Logos scheming,
I guess.
Yeah.
Laughing.
I don't know. So I probably have to go back and watch the Kento Doctor Strange seeing 85,000 futures clip show that was in there. But you see Master Logos in there, but he doesn't do anything. He's just there. He walks in, he just looks at what's going on, and then that's it. It cuts away to like another thing. I'm also confused. Does Kento... The way that it set it up was that he was using the Espada powers, and then those failed him, and he picked up the Caliber powers in that like flash cut kind of thing. But then it showed other times when he was just Caliber, and it showed other times when he was just Espada. It was a little weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I will say, even though it was a little wonky and there are a few things that I do want explained, I loved that scene a lot.
Oh, I really liked that a lot.
It's
the way that it was cut was really cool. I'm very confused.
I say this a lot, but show don't tell, and that was perfect.
Yep. I agree.
When like the quick exchange with Caliber, or previously Espada, now Caliber, and Saber, when they were talking, and then he matched what he said, and then it fell right into the flash forwards. That was so effective.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was easily one of the most well executed parts I've seen in like this episode and like the series overall. And I think like when we're given that bombardment of like flash forwards, I kind of like really like the way they like sort of structured it. Like obviously like he's lived many futures, and like each time he kind of like knows what goes wrong, so he goes back, relives it, tries to change something up, and then once he changes that, they fail again in another way. And I felt like we're watching like this progression of just like him kind of like figuring out which route really like leads to like the world's salvation. And I think we saw Master Logos towards the end of it. So I kind of like that, you know, they're doing all this stuff to kind of like save the world from like the Megiddo and like them bringing like the two worlds together. But like at the end, like even if they deal with those guys, they have to deal with Master Logos, and we don't see like anything from that. They kind of like cut away from that, and I'm like, okay, that's nice. Like leave some of that, you know, suspense for us.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's pretty neat, you know.
I'm wondering. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was about to say, like, for the first time, we understand and we can see the motivation behind one of our antagonists for the show. And it's solid, it's clear, and I get it, and I even sympathize with him because it feels like the only way out. Anyway, what you were saying?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, because of the way that it's set up, it's a little strange to me that Sabella, I forgot her, Reika, she's the one who stole the Sword of Darkness, right? The Caliber sword, because it smokes away. So how did Kento just? Because it looked like he was inside the sword. Did he just come out of the sword at some point and then just escape, or did he get the sword given to him or something? I'm assuming they answer. I'm hoping that they answer that, but I'm saying like he came from the southern base, so anything that he's going through right now could have been manufactured by Master Logos.
That's true,
right? Like.
I do want to talk about Master Logos for a second, though, because he's been built up this whole time as, you know, he's the highest higher up of the Sword of Logos, and now, plot twist, turns out to be evil, but another plot twist, he turns out to be the most generic, regular evil that there is. It's unfortunate. Like, they had an opportunity to do something interesting, and it's just some more evil stuff.
I
don't know. I feel like the most interesting part of Master Logos for me is that it's not like a single Master Logos. Like that title definitely gets passed down. We're not sure if it's like an incarnation or something, like the same like soul, but like transferring to different bodies or something like that.
The way that it was phrased in Japanese was Shodai, so that tells me that it's like either a title that gets passed down, or it's his like direct descendant. Biological descendant.
Okay.
Interesting.
So Yeah, that sounds like interesting.
It could also be like an incarnation, but it sounded like either it was like the original died, and then whoever was in second command took over, and that's him, or it's like his great grandson or something. That's how I took it.
Yeah, but like even like with that, like this guy's clearly like different from all the other ones before him. So I wasn't like sure if it would be like an exact reincarnation because in that way they would be like a lot more similar. But I think it would make more sense for him to be like a blood related or just like the passing down of a title.
Yep.
And he's so like off that Tassel actually gets up from his like like little cottage in Wonderworld and actually has to come and like confront him about it. It's just like we had like this whole deal going. You're here in the human world protecting that, and I'm gonna be chilling out in Wonderworld, like, and Master Logos isn't really like having it. He's kind of like already saying, you know what, screw that. Like I want a lot more than that.
Yeah.
And having like Tassel being involved in like their relationship, I think that's probably the thing I'm most interested about seeing for like Master Logos. It doesn't really have to do with like him because like I think his personality, his like brain of evil is just kind of like, yeah, okay. It's nothing like real tangible, just like generic evil bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm okay with that as long as we get some more explanation as to what his... Because I don't think we've seen what his actual end game is yet. I think we just know what he's trying to do, which is get the book and the swords together. I don't think he's actually giving his full plan yet.
Sure.
And the reason I say that is because, hopefully this is the way that it was presented. He let Toma get Primitive Dragon. So he's trying to use him for something, right? And he wanted to recruit him originally for the southern base. So I think something about the fire sword is needed by him to do something. I don't know what, but it's there a little bit. And then the other thing I liked how they used Tassel in this episode. I think I said it during the reaction. I don't think it was necessary to give him an alternate name.
Yeah.
Like not. It's fine that they were like, okay, my name used to be this, but I feel like if he would have just been called that in the beginning, it wouldn't have made any difference. Like as a character, if his name is Tassel or Pictor or Victor, whatever the name is, that doesn't really change the way that he's characterized. And it didn't seem like he was like one kind of personality and now he's different. He just always seems to have been what he is. So that confused me. I don't know.
It reminds me of when the Star Wars came out just randomly on a random day and said, "Hey, Palpatine, his first name is Sheev."
Right. Oh, okay.
What? Oh, yeah. Okay. I guess. Yeah, I'll take that.
That's information that is right. That's kind of how it felt. It was like, okay, but we know this character is Tassel. And the name that you're giving him is just as ridiculous. So what's the...
Yeah.
Like, I want to know what the decision came from. Like, is he going to get a rider form? And they didn't want to call him Kamen Rider Tassel, so they want to call him Kamen Rider Pictor instead. I don't know. But it doesn't sound... Right, I would too. Like, that's the thing. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, for that type of plot twist, you would expect there to be, like, a Victor in some sort of exposition a while back.
Exactly. If we heard about Victor, like if this was episode 1, we learned this backstory, and Victor was one of the people, and he looked different than Tassel, and then Tassel revealed himself as Victor. That would be a twist,
Yeah.
I don't know.
They do twists very strangely.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a twist if you're just withholding information for the sake of withholding information.
Right.
Also, I did want to touch on... I guess this sort of relates to what I just said, but, like... everyone was like, how is... what's his name? Espada, Caliber. What's his name?
Kento?
Yeah, how is Kento still alive? And then all of them are like... Oh yeah, as you should know, if you get slain by the blade, you either die or, fall to darkness. It's either or. Like, y'all just had that information? Did you not want to share that with the class? With the audience?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that actually reminds me of like a previous point that I forgot to make. Like when we were getting this exposition, like I was saying, like, yeah, why don't we get it episode 1? Why wouldn't Buster or like Slash know about this? Like they're obviously from like an older generation, and they've been fighting them for a while. Yeah. Like obviously you would know who these Megiddo are if they've been enemies for so long. Like who else would they freaking be? Like,
it's odd. It almost, so when Saber first started and they brought Buster on, and this is just from an innate desire for me to just, in multiple Rider series, usually there's a lot of either deaths or Riders losing their powers, which we did get a Rider losing his power this episode too, even if it's just temporary. But I thought the whole thing was going to be, we were going to see the old guard die. Kind of, because this takes a little bit of inspiration from Ryusoja, in which the same thing kind of happens, where like the older bearers of the powers lose those powers and or die. They pass them on to the new generation. I thought we were going to see like the old Buster shows up, dies, gives it to a new Buster, right? Like a new character that we meet. That way everybody's kind of even playing field, and they don't know about the old history. That's where I thought it was going. But it didn't go that way. So now we have a bunch of people who should know what's going on, but they're either not saying it or they don't know what's going on, and I don't know that they're planning on explaining it.
Yeah.
It's just me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, for like Buster, it makes some sense, because like these guys usually get like, it's not like they're like indoctrinated in like the system. It's not like they're like adopted like Winter was. Like they just kind of like get it randomly. If you guys like have read the Buster manga, like he's just like a regular high school student, and then like he gets it from his teacher or whatever. Yeah. So like, and if he's just doing missions like from then on out and living his own life, it would make sense that he doesn't like really like know the identities or something. But I think there was like some incident like 10 years ago where they were instigating something huge. And if the Sword of Logos just didn't tell them who they were, I mean, obviously this organization is sketched enough. I don't know how many times they have to tell us.
It's weird, and I feel like I can say like, okay, maybe Buster doesn't know, but for Slash to not know, and his family is like the keeper of the swords.
True.
To the point where he freaks out that his sword died, like overacting to 10th degree. I mean, beautiful overacting, but like he really flipped out.
Yeah.
Like for him to not know all the stuff is odd.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
Also, I'm glad Sophia is still sitting in a room somewhere, not helping anybody.
Like she showed up in those flash forwards too.
Yeah, she did.
Those
still
were really
in that
creepy.
room. Still sitting in that room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
that the mom from. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that is her socially distant cubicle where they keep her.
Yeah.
She might be 65 or older. You don't know.
I said this. I didn't say this to anybody. I thought it to myself. She's like Tetamu from Gao Ranger, the Princess Shayla character.
Sure. Yeah.
In Gao Ranger, but she doesn't do anything. Like in Gao Ranger, she does stuff. I don't think Sophia has done one thing.
Yeah.
Really.
Like that...
she gave May a book.
Which
just means May has done more than her because she has used the book. I don't know.
I feel like there was supposed to be so much more weight to her character and her presence not being around anymore, but like ultimately I ended up forgetting. I ended up not caring because like they didn't really have anything for the character to do. They didn't show that she was integral to the team in any way, and I didn't feel the loss because of it.
So I thought that she was gonna. I guess she could be, because Kamen Rider can get weird. I thought that she was gonna end up being Luna.
Oh.
In a weird way, because in the past, in exposition we get, the woman standing in the center of the knights looks like Sophia, but they also call her the woman or the girl who unites the two worlds, which Luna has been described as. But Luna is still running around as a little girl. That, as far as we know. Yeah. But then Sophia, so it's like, is it possible that Sophia is sitting in that room and then astral projecting herself to Toma? Like, it's Ryder, so things can get weird. I'm just trying to think of like a way where it would make sense that she's just not doing anything. Because they casted her for a reason, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They spend money and casted this actress to play this part, and she's been,
literally shelved.
Literally shelved in a box.
Yeah.
For the past, it feels like 10 episodes that she's been out of the picture.
Yeah, I mean, like, she was doing stuff with, like, Caliber, so...
Yeah, that's true.
But at least they were trying.
They tried, I guess.
I honestly, I forgot that she confronted Caliber. Is how long ago that was. I forgot that she actually got out of the base and confronted him. Yeah, I mean, I could see it going that way, and that would be cool. That would be an interesting twist. I mean, then it's weird. That's one of those things. Just if you make the premise too weird, you end up like setting yourself up for failure as a writer. Like, I love the series, but the time travel that they set up in Kabuto is really strange, and basically you have to force yourself to just forget about how strange it is for the entire story to make sense.
I agree, but
yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's Toku, so like you have to let your you have to believe the impossible. I'm just saying, I think it's a game that there's this character that could be really interesting, and she's not being utilized.
Yeah.
All right, then. You guys want to like dive in comments? Because I feel like we're running a little bit too long for this almost episode length, but I think we might wrap it up pretty cleanly here.
I have Peacemakers up first.
All right. So, question: didn't the Southern base take the Kuriyami back in December? How do you lose a sword you stole to start with? Anyway, this episode was something. I don't know how to feel about all this. Was it needed? Yes. But does it make the show better? Honestly, no. It feels a little too late, and now even Toma gets his final form, which I assume is the last sword it's supposed to be. It's pointless because the world ends unless Kento sacrifices himself, I think. I will give him credit. I do want to see where we go from here, but for all the wrong reasons. I don't know. I feel like they did step it up a lot. Like, at least we have a more concrete view of like this world, and we know where we can actually go for once. Just doing that alone is a step in the right direction.
There's a clear plot.
Yeah,
for once in the 26 episodes that we've been watching. I do agree with the comment though. I want to know how Kuriyami got into, like, how did Kento get back? We were just told, like, okay, he got out, but how did he get out? Why did the sword let him out? Like, I want that answer for sure.
Yeah.
Also, Reiko was the one who stole it, so like she could also not be part of, like, completely under Master Logo. She can be just doing her own one-off thing.
Sure.
Right.
All right.
The next one I have is Treecob and Muhammad.
All right. How the F did Kento survive? And the whole episode seems to be similar to Avengers Endgame. Like Yuri said, sometimes... Oh, this is from Muhammad. And then, like Yuri said, sometimes people who get sliced by Caliber sword either die or even be corrupted by it. I mean...
That's logic that should have just been there. I mean, we sort of gathered that could have been a possibility, but, like...
It was teased when we saw Kento screaming and purple energy on him as he was sucked into the sword. But yeah, ideally you would have introduced that the sword can either kill you or trap you in darkness when it first shows up, so that it's a callback versus new information drop. But
yeah, it just didn't feel like a legit like rider death because like you still see, or like you didn't see the body just like dead. You know, like he just kind of like absorbed.
He was definitely alive. Like we knew that, but I feel like they could have just, even with the original Caliber, they could have mentioned that if you get cut by the sword, you either die or, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah,
you can die a hero and live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, best of both worlds.
Thanks, Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
Okay, no, Kento did not die the hero that day.
That's true. You're right.
He died a fool.
He's an idiot. Yeah.
All right.
Next one I have is Taskmask.
All right, this is one of the best episodes of Saber in terms of cinematography and editing. I really liked how the montages for Kento's visions of the future were shot and paced, and that they snuck in a sneak peek of the final Seiken. And yes, it's clearly happening Doctor Strange, but if they were going to do it, I appreciate that they put the effort in showing us some of these features instead of saying it as dialogue and moving on.
Agreed.
Fair.
Yeah. Definitely.
And then he goes on to say, also, Daishinji's scream of terror made me sad. Yeah, that was rough. It was interesting to me because, like, I understood, you know, oh yeah, he's screaming, he's sad, that really sucks. But also, it's the same sounding scream as he does when he's doing the Bremen No Rock Band stuff. So it really, like, crossed a few wires for me. It almost worked.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought like he popped like a huge erection or something, you know, like I was just like, oh, okay, so his sword is dead. Okay. All right. I think the last one's from Double the Unknown.
Yes, welcome back.
All right. I'm gonna go on the actual video just in case it's a little bit longer.
Sure.
All right. I've been reflecting on the quality of Saber lately, and although it has gotten better the past few months, it is still one of the worst written writer shows. This episode makes me more convinced about my theory that Saber's final form will give him the power of all the swords at once. Daishinji being the first to lose his sword makes the most sense because he's the one that has a closer relationship with his blade. And I also love that Kento called out Toma for his BS ideals because Toma talks a lot but has failed to act on anything he says lately. A bit sad to see that our sand-eating boy has likely changed his diet, but at least we still have the Three Stooges overacting next week to make up for it.
I disagree. He was left in a wasteland full of sand. That boy is full of sand. I'm telling you. It was a buffet.
So much sand, he's even wearing it now.
Yeah. Like just like secreted it and just like made his whole like armored layer of sand. That's what it was, not a burlap sack.
That explains where his clothes come from. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Toma was actually following through on a lot of his ideals, but like I think he has like the benefit of having some BS powers to go along with it. You know, like so you do happen to save people when you like hit them. Okay, and then you wait for like the book to be created, and if you hit it at one moment, then it saves them. And like it feels very like dodgy, but I don't know. I think Kento's like actually, or not Kento, Toma's a lot better of a character than he was previously. So I think it's a little unfair to call him out on that part, at least.
The part that stuck out for me, like the episode that stuck out for me, is when everyone kept telling Blades that there is no possible way to save these people, so you have to kill people. This is what you have to do, and like, you know, people die along the way, and this is just, it's gonna have to be your blade. You have to kill them. And then Toma said no, like, and poured his emotions into his sword, because I guess emotions are just another gimmick to put into the sword, and then separated them. Like that, I felt that, you know, his powers were, I guess, aiding him with the ideals that he had. Part of it sort of reminds me of Gaim, how like he would have these ideals, no real tangible way to get them, but then it was just handed to him, and it works out because he just has it.
Yeah, nothing about Toma's powers has really bothered me. Actually, like It's all standard. I mean, you can't have the hero of the show not saving people. Yeah. It wouldn't make for very good television.
I mean, good.
I mean, well, yeah, I know.
There are some exceptions.
There are some exceptions.
Bill definitely didn't save that one of those trios guys.
This is true. No, he did not. The opposite, in fact.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you could do it. I'm just saying, in this.
Sure.
Whether they build up the story, he kind of has to, or they're not getting anywhere.
Sure.
Yeah. It felt natural too, like when he actually did do it, because like it's just an extension of a power we've already seen. So it's fine. Yeah. So, anyways, those were our comments and those were our thoughts. Guys, that's it for our review. Make sure to like, comment, all that other stuff below. I forgot to ask you guys if you had any final thoughts, but I feel like we've talked this episode.
We've talked it to death. This is 31 minutes long.
All right. Well, we're just gonna end this like right now. Guys, keep it juicy.
All right. Wow. That.
Bye.
Jesus. Hello.
All right.
Man,
you see, this is why I like Saber.
There is a lot of discussion to be had.
Because you can tear